Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally time, buddy.
It's finally time.
The first episode of the Overconfident and Underqualified podcast. I'm Cody.
I'm Jay.
And welcome in, folks. We've been waiting. We've been working on this thing it's been a concept for better part of 6 months now.
Yep. We've really been hammering down and trying to figure out what to do for the last 3.
And it's finally happened. We're in the studio, the dojo, the dungeon, well, we can't say what Bodie wanted me to call it on here. Well, yeah, we can. It's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Right? He wanted to call it the sex dungeon.
Yeah, that's what I figured would be coming out of his mouth.
I don't have dungeons for sex.
No,
I'm old.
That's right.
We are old, folks.
We had a lot of things going on, Cody. We had a lot of I'm not going to say roadblocks because they were amazing springboards. Some pay-per-view boxing commentary.
That was awesome. Shout out to TKO Ticks
You
for
bet.
bringing us in. Make sure
Alien Boy boxing.
Alien Boy boxing. It sounds like we're gonna be doing quite a bit of that.
Yep.
We'll talk about that later on down the road.
Yes.
Dude, I'm super excited. Just a little introduction for you guys. Me and Jay actually graduated together. We've been kind of feeding off of each other for the better part of 30 years.
That's about right.
And we decided maybe it was time to sit down and share some of that knowledge with you guys. I tend to be very overconfident.
I like to think I'm qualified, but that's where the under.
I was going to say
play.
I'm probably the underqualified one too here. So he's going to bring you all sorts of knowledge. I'm going to try to splash in whatever I can with it. And yeah, we're off and running here.
Yeah,
Dude.
we're
This
gonna be
is
broadcasting from the small blip of Atlantic, Iowa.
yeah.
But no, we're gonna be doing a lot of different things. We kind of said in the promo, we got conspiracy theories, we got sports. We want to keep sports kind of a figurehead too, because I think that draws and brings everybody together, no matter what you're into.
Yeah, the sports thing is going to be kind of a cornerstone on every show after this one. At least we're going to have the over/under sports shorts.
Yep. Little sports short. We're gonna do. We're gonna make it fun too, though. We're gonna try to do some picks of the upcoming MLB season. We're gonna keep some track. We'll add some flair to it, but that way we have a little friendly competition going on, and you can see who's kicking whose ass.
Yeah, the only thing that I wish is that we could have started this last week, so I could have brought you in and made fun of you about your Chiefs getting their asses kicked.
That's neither here nor there now, sir.
Oh no, it's still here. Until the next football season begins, that's what you get to hear about is the Chiefs getting rallied, just railed.
Did the Dodgers play recently?
They're just world champions, buddy.
But did they just play recently? I thought they just had a game.
Oh shit, they played the Cubs, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did well, I think.
Yeah. It's over in Tokyo though, so it doesn't even count.
No, it's the Cubs, bro. they're blowing their wad right now. Once they get into the regular season, it's game over.
The Cubbies got themselves a good third baseman. Justin Turner is a nice addition to any baseball team. I really miss him as a Dodger.
That's like you and I adding USA Cyan as a third person on our dodgeball team. Like, he can do something, but I don't think he's going to carry us all. One third baseman for the Cubs might not do it.
Well, honestly though, Cyan might be able to carry us all.
Actually, he might. Yeah,
you guys will beat him too.
Know.
So yeah, we're gonna do some sports. We got conspiracies. We're gonna do world events. We'd like for you guys to follow both of our social medias on top of jumping over to the YouTube page if you're not already there, the Overconfident and Underqualified podcast. Hit the subscribe button. We're gonna try to do this at least once a week.
Yep.
We're going to shoot for between an hour, a half hour, and an hour per episode to get started. And it's just going to be a lot of us rambling, talking about things that people want to talk about, but maybe they're a little worried to talk about in public, and we just don't give a shit, people.
It's good. We want to keep it fresh, though, so we're not going to, we'll see how things go, but we want to have the conspiracies, the funny, the comedy. We want to keep it fresh. We want to keep you guys entertained. That's the whole purpose of this, is just entertainment. And, as we kind of go through some of these wild ideas that maybe too fantastical to even contemplate and think about. It's just fun to keep your mind open and think of something other than driving home in the traffic.
Well, and another thing about that is you guys better get it figured out. We are trying to make you laugh. Do not start sending me messages mad at me because of an opinion that I might have, because a lot of my opinions on here are not going to be the most popular things.
Controversial?
Yeah, that might be the word. But it's one of those things where you don't have to agree with my opinion. Just laugh at me.
Yeah, it's all in fun. We want to keep it fresh, keep everybody laughing. That's the most important. Don't take any of our advice.
Yeah, it's not a dick. Don't take it too hard.
God.
Like I said, you're gonna get offended at some point. If you don't, you're not going to enjoy this near as much.
No.
But so the plan is we'll run you guys through that. Like I said, once a week, half hour to an hour podcast, something for you to listen to either on the drive home or after you get home and the kids are driving you nuts. Hell, I don't care if you listen to it while you're at work, throw in the earbuds. I promise you that it's going to be a half hour of time that you'll just lose because it's fun to listen to.
If we can get a smile or a chuckle, then we did our job.
Yeah, that's all we're looking for.
That's right.
You did say that we were going to stay with relevant topics, right?
Yes, like we all see the moon every day.
Yeah, the moon every day.
Do you like that segue? The moon. We all look at it, right? You know.
The best part is that I just tossed it up there and you grabbed it. This is why we're here, folks.
Snatch it out of the air. No, so Cody had mentioned some of our other socials, and I am really I dig out on this ancient aliens theories, the ancient civilizations, what we're finding now using all technology and kind of rewriting what we thought or what we were taught in school.
Well, and while you're saying that, why don't you go ahead and tell them what your socials are? That way they can go over and slide over and follow you.
Yeah, I got, I think the majority of it is just official Jay Robinson. But on my TikTok, I do the odd drop, the ODD drop, the odd drop. And it's basically going to be, if you like the conspiracy things or what's going on out in the current events, that's what I do videos on. I got some fake moon theory, which we're going to touch on here. Immaculate Constellation is absolutely wild. I think that's going to be my favorite one. I'm going to have to do a series because it's going to be so long. But the fact that it's government documentation and not just some weirdo from Alabama. Sorry, Alabama. Saying they saw some hubcap flying through the sky. It's government document talking about the different types of intelligence that they're picking up. We'll get into it later. But Odd Drop on TikTok, head over there, check it out because I'll be talking about that and doing some more educational stuff.
Absolutely. Make sure that you check out the Odd Drop stuff. His official Jay Robinson on Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, Grindr.
Just joking, Mal.
So make sure that you go over and check his stuff out. The Odd Drop stuff, I've had my pulse on the social media thing, or my finger on the pulse, not my pulse on the social media thing. But I've had
way on that.
I've been kind of in this game for a little over a year, so I'm not anywhere near being an expert. But I do have an eye to see things that seem to take off. I think the Odd Drop's going to be something very big. He's putting out very, very well put together videos with a lot of knowledge, a little bit of humor that is fantastic because it's his dry kind of humor that you guys are going to fall in love with. But yeah, about 6 months ago, Jay started really talking to me about social media, and I knew what he had, and I kept telling him, and don't take this anything more than me just being supportive. I told him, dude, you got to keep at it. You got to find your niche. You're going to hit it, and I think the Odd Drop's it. So make sure that you slide over and follow him. And then on the completely other end of the spectrum,
comedy, if you're looking for a laugh, you got to check out the shenanigans.
The complete other end of the spectrum. I am the Cody James on everything except for YouTube. Or no, I did get it switched over on YouTube. Twitch, I am the Voice 42.
Yep.
And I just switched up. I did dad bod dance videos.
Yeah.
I did almost 100 dance videos, and I can't dance.
I thought you could. I mean, it was your own kind of dancing, right?
Yeah, you're a nice guy. Even my kids were like, Dad, you need to do comedy.
Everybody loved it, man. That was the smile and the entertainment that we're looking for, and get you out of your head.
So, yeah, and then I woke up one day and I found a video, and the video was some topless chicks topless broads. I mean, topless women.
That was over in France, right?
It was in France. There was some hairy armpits going on, that kind of stuff.
You hopped on a plane and dropped in and helped them out.
Yeah, jumped on, made a comedy video, and that one kind of jumped off.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys have never been involved in anything social media, I will tell you that one of the biggest dopamine rushes I have ever got was getting on one day and I seen a video that hit 70,000 views.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm an attention whore, probably.
It's just fun, even if you don't think it's like, no, I'm not into that. And then all of a sudden you see something that goes off. It's like, oh, it's when you get the analytics. You see, oh, it's been played 36 hours. And so your content has been streamed for 3 days straight, my boy. You know?
Yeah. And right now it's Snapchat that's going bananas, which follow me on Snapchat too. Trying to get those numbers up. Make sure you follow both of us. We're going to be clipping stuff. And then, like I said, jump over to the YouTube page and the Facebook page.
Facebook, it's all set. Yeah.
Make sure we're going to get this overconfident and underqualified podcast on all the social media outlets. That way, we're actually even going to try to find our way onto the big guys. We'd like to find our way into Spotify and Apple and all that good
That would be the dream.
That would be the dream.
American dream.
Oh, by the way, sponsors, we're ready to take phone calls anytime.
Possibly you.
All right. So now that I have rambled on here for about 5 minutes, let's go back to the topic of the day.
The moon. The moon. We all see the moon. We all love the moon. We all blame the moon on a lot of different things. But this is, I wanted to start with this one because this one, we were all taught, and everybody kind of believes, everybody but Cody, about the moon landing happening.
The moon landing is a joke, man. Come on.
No, this is why I love this stuff, is because the more we learn, the more time goes by and all that, you start to hear more on the disclosures coming out. You hear, well, how did that happen? You hear some different theories that actually start to make sense. And so it just kind of opened your mind to the whole realm of what's going on. So I kind of started digging, and there's quite a few, and I'm going to kind of stay on the higher topics of the most like what moments, but the craters on the moon, it's been a pinnacle of all the videos or whatever you see. The main thing you notice is the craters on the moon. That's what distinguishes it. And you've seen them, right?
Absolutely.
All different sizes.
Absolutely.
They're the same depth.
Really?
They're all about the same depth, right? Between, I think it's the 2.1 to 4.2 or 3.8 like kilometers depth. It doesn't matter the radius.
Oh, so this isn't something that I can go up there with a tape measure and make sure that you're right.
Well, I mean, I could send you up there and see how it goes, but I don't think it went too well for that one dog. Sorry. No, yeah. If you look at, you've got all these different sizes, but they don't go deeper than that sweet spot. I mean, maybe minus a few anomalies out there, but the majority is all right there.
Could that be something where they've been hit by? I mean, is everything in space moving at the same rate? No,
not necessarily,
absolutely
because
not.
in space, if you get an object moving, it's not going to stop. That's why you can use those little bursts of air, right? When you're trying to dock.
Yeah,
like you see the little bursts. It's like on Apollo 13 or whatever. Because once you set something in motion, there's no friction to stop the motion.
That's why the guys on Armageddon had to have those jetpacks. That way, if I kick you in the nuts, you don't go flying off into space from the asteroid.
Yes, ma'am. Bear.
You? I don't know if. Yeah, I don't. If we're gonna check copyrights, I guess. But the hell with it.
I mean, we're just. It's just me doing it, so I don't float away.
All 14 people that are watching this thing aren't gonna care that I said Armageddon.
You're absolutely right. So if you there's nothing to stop it. So if you get into space and you're putting propulsion behind yourself, you're going to continue that until you contact or put an opposite force the other way. So if it's blasted out of there with some TNT and it's streaking across the sky, nothing's going to stop it. But if it got bumped and then started, tumbling,
but that also means that everything that hit it, well, like the circumference of the of these craters would be the difference maker, I would think, because you're going to have several different. If they were all the same circumference, maybe I'd be a little bit more freaked out by it.
Well, but think about that. You got a massive crater the size of a Volkswagen, then you've got a crater the size of an ocean, but they're the same depth.
Yeah, that's dumb.
So now you got, is the mass going to be the same? It can't be that. So, but that because there's impact on Earth too, like the Chicxulub crater, like where we had asteroids actually smack the Earth, like it's going to happen in Christmas 2032.
I'll be on top of my room with a White Claw, baby. Let's go.
Ain't no laws when you have a White Claw. But yeah, the craters, the impacts on the Earth are completely wildly. They vary. So like some are 10 miles deep, some are 2 miles deep. There's different ones. Like the Gulf of Mexico's got one. Gulf of America, baby.
See, right away, we're getting right into it, folks.
I slipped up for a second. No, so that's why it's such a weird thing. Why is the moon, which seems to be floating up in space in Nowheresville, having all the same radiuses are different, but the craters are the same depth.
Okay, so here's a question that I'm going to ask you and get your opinion on. I mean, we're just going to dive right into this son of a bitch, apparently. Why is it that I go outside one night and the moon is this big? And I go outside the next night and the moon is the size of my fucking house and looks like I can reach out and grab it?
Because the Earth is on a tilt, so it's going this way, and it's an oblongish. It goes like this. So it wobbles and it spins. So as it's coming back, the moon is a little bit closer and a little bit farther away. And
but it seems to happen on the timing on it is so quick sometimes. Like, there's nights you go outside after the moon's been up in the sky the night before and it's a normal moon, and you walk out the next night and that thing's on the horizon and it looks like the Death Star coming up. And I'm expecting Darth Vader to blow the earth up in a couple of minutes.
That's always cool, because that usually happens in the fall when you have the fall harvest moon and it looks like it's coming straight up off of the edge of the town.
And to be quite honest, one of my favorite things about living out here in the Midwest, there's a lot of people on the West Coast, East Coast. They call these flyover states. They don't understand, though. I love going to Los Angeles. We are actually going to make a trip out to Vegas. Make sure that if you're out in Vegas March 6th through the 10th, come check us out.
Yeah, betcha, baby.
We're going to be all over town. We're going to be with Not Logan Paul, Double Take Jake. It sounds like USA Saiyan might be coming. My buddy Odd Danny might be coming. Odd Chris coming. We may have a whole crew out there going to go out and check out the Power Slap and one of my favorite events all the time. I love going to UFC events, whether it's for going to the fights or a watch party, which is what it sounds like we're going to be out in Vegas.
Yeah,
But I digress. One thing that you don't understand living in those big ass cities is that light pollution really ruins the sky at night. Going out and we can drive 2 miles?
Yeah.
And be out in the country with no light pollution, sitting on a gravel road, looking up and seeing every star in the sky. And guess what? They're always in the same damn place, dude. So how does the moon move but the stars don't?
Because apparently our entire solar system or galaxy is spinning. So the moon or the Earth is rotating around the sun, but the sun is zipping through the universe at what was it, 100? I'm not even going to say. It's like something like 100 and some odd kilometers per hour. And but also rotating around it, but so is everything. But you see the same stars all the time. So that's one that I have to dig into, because I don't have a whole lot of reasons to say that it shouldn't be moving. But, you go back to all those ancient civilizations and they build the pyramids where when the star comes up, it's in between a column or it's on the tip of the pyramid, or you got so it's been the same way for how long?
There's a whole nother discussion that's going to have to happen, dude. The pyramids, crazy.
Crazy. And I don't think it was to bury mummies and pharaohs. It was to generate energy.
And
we can get into that later.
Yeah, when you got rocks from different parts, or rocks that end up on different parts of the world, that they all came from the same spot, and
well, then you got the frequency resonation, but I'm already looking like a tinfoil hat guy already.
We're moving in the wrong direction here, brother.
No, but I was just gonna, the crater thing. I know you're asking about the radius and all that. I think that the wildest fact that pairs with the craters being about the same depth, doesn't matter the size of the radius or the impact, is back in the Apollo days, Apollo 12. They that mission was up there, and part of that mission was they were going to send, no kidding, and this is something you and I would have come up with. Hey boys, since we're here, hasn't been that exciting. Why don't we send the lunar lander, just zinging that sucker right into the face of the moon? And that's exactly what they did. So they wanted to see what would happen. This is the other thing that's going to come out in some of these other episodes, especially with the constellation.
That's a hold my beer moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a hold my beer moment.
How can we get to figure out what the composition of the crust of the moon is? I don't know. Here comes Cody shirtless with a Busch Latte. Oh, I got this, bro. And he hits the punch button, and there it goes. And then, what the hell are you doing, Cody? He's like, just watch. Well, it was astonishing, because once the lunar lander hit the moon, and they had instruments for this. So it's like, I wonder if they had an idea before, because this isn't just like an accidental thing. Like, let's just shoot the lunar lander in that thing. It rang. It's like it reverberated like a bell. And I think they were expecting a little bit of that because, just like an earthquake on Earth, the crust move and you can catch it on seismographs and all that. But it reverberated around the moon for hours. So it wasn't just a boom and then, with a glass of water like Jurassic Park, the boom. and then dissipates. Like it just kept doing it. And so like the NASA scientists didn't explain. They're like, I have no idea how that's working. And so one of the theories they came up with was the hollow moon.
The hollow moon. I always thought the moon was made of cheese.
That's what maybe it's that Swiss cheese and it's got. Yeah, that's all from the NASA documents and their own.
And God knows you can trust NASA. And if it's on NASA, it's like being on the internet. It's absolutely true.
And if you can't trust the government, Cody, who can you trust?
Oh man, let me put my phone away before you start saying stuff like that.
Just kidding, FBI agent.
Yeah, Mr. CIA.
That's right.
So yeah, it rang like a bell.
It rang like a bell.
That doesn't even make sense.
I know.
Like a bell has was it made of metal? Is it the Truman Show?
It could be the Death Star, bro.
It could be the Death Star. I told you, man. I told you.
It raises up in the
You know what's going to start next is the comments are going to start blowing up at some point here, and we're going to start hearing about flat Earth. And if we have to start talking about flat Earth, I'm telling you people right now, I am going to throw a goddamn fit.
We're going to hit the ice wall, Cody. You can't go over it.
Dude, that's what's on the other side of Antarctica.
That's right.
That and the Nazis.
Hey, that's why all these nations signed treaties to make it so you can't go there. So they don't want us to see what's on the other side.
Good news is Trump don't give a fuck. He's going to do whatever he wants.
You go look at Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump, where he flew that mission over the South Pole, Antarctica, and said he came through thick fog and dense cloud to see nothing but green vegetation, woolly mammoths, and liquid water. So it wasn't frozen over. It was like a whole new realm. That's what I know. That's
dude, that'd be so cool. I would, if there was another realm.
Did you imagine?
Dude.
Well, then we can get into Shangri-La. I mean, we got so many.
I mean,
I got so many I could just start spouting off about.
Well, yeah, because then you start talking about the.
Well, there's a hollow Earth theory, too.
The hollow Earth theory is crazy. I've actually dove into a little bit of that. Well, that was a hiccup. I haven't hiccuped in a long time. Apparently, that's what happens.
I've had a lot of hiccups in my life.
Yeah.
It's wild down in the poles. Nazis wanted to know everything about, and they were floating submarines underneath the sea.
I am absolutely nothing like a Nazi, but I want to know everything about I want to know everything about Antarctica.
When people tell you can't know stuff, that makes you want to know. So if they sign treaties saying that people just can't go there and do private stuff, like why not?
It's kind of like that hot girl that says no. I'm like, man, I want to kiss you really bad. She's like, no. And now I'm like, I really want to kiss you.
And that's when we say, Cody, just walk away.
Cody, just walk away. You can't be doing things that you're not supposed to be doing.
So, with the walking away, the one of the last, because to tie all the moon stuff together is the hollow thing, the craters. So the surface, is it manufactured, is where it kind of all leads. Was it brought in somehow and placed where it was placed? And that sounds so fantastical and stupid. Stupid.
Like I'm not a big guy on that we actually landed on the moon, but that sounds dumb.
And it's like what you're picturing, like Alf, pulling the moon behind a tow rope. We're gonna go get you some place right. Well, here's the problem with that. That makes it so wild. It's like it's 400 times smaller than the sun, right? So we have the moon, and it's going around the Earth. It's got its orbit, and it controls the tides. So whenever you have high tide and low tide, it's because of that and the gravity. If the moon wasn't there, chaos would erupt, because we wouldn't have the tides, and water would just, it'd be a catastrophic episode if the moon just disappeared, right?
It'd be Waterworld.
It basically.
I love that movie.
Kevin Costner's too old for that now.
Well, but he still has the gills, so he can swim.
Yes, I always wanted this. No, I'm just kidding. that it would be, so that's one thing. So it's got to be just close enough and just far away enough to control it perfectly, right? And then the distance between the Earth and the sun is identical. So that's why when you're looking at a solar eclipse, you go outside and it's covers the sun almost perfectly, because it's 400 times smaller than the sun, but it's also 400 times closer to Earth than the sun. So
okay,
statistically,
maybe it getting placed there isn't that dumb.
That's where it's like, I know the theory, it sounds so stupid, but it's like that is just a wild. It's perfect distance from the Earth to control what it needs to control. It rotates at a certain speed that we don't get to see the dark side of the moon. We don't ever get to see the other side. It's placed.
You know why we don't get to see the other side?
Well, because Pink Floyd said so.
No.
Oh,
it's because that's where Optimus Prime is.
Hey, That was pretty good.
Yeah,
That was good. You need to put a little effect on that one.
Got that deep buttery voice.
I'm more like a bumblebee.
You know how Optimus Prime came to existence, right?
Uh-uh.
Chuck Norris pissed in the diesel tank of a Peterbilt one time.
I can see that happening.
Yep,
And
it'll forever be known as Optimus Prime. Or as I used to call it to my kids, Octopus Prime, because man, that used to make them mad. It's not octopus.
Kids are so, but that was we used to watch that when it was actual cartoons. Saturday morning,
Dude, I had
He-Man underwear.
I had the action figures that you actually went through, and they were impossible to transform.
It never worked the way it looked like on the TV.
Yeah, now they've got the ones where you literally, it's like a little robot. There's a lot of robots in this world now.
There are a lot.
But you just hit a button and it turns, it changes, and then you can drive them around.
Yeah.
That kids these days will never know what it's like to choke on plastic.
Kids just aren't getting frustrated enough at young age.
And that's why they're kind of Sallies, because they've never got their heart broke by a toy when they were 4 years old.
You're supposed to be Optimus Prime.
Like you go out when we used to go out to McDonald's and think that you were going to get a cool toy, and you ended up with like a plush doll.
Yeah, they hit you with the Polly Pocket.
Stupid, man.
Come on.
Stupid.
I said it was for a boy. Thank you.
Oh, so
yeah, we got off track.
but that's the whole point of this thing, right?
That's exactly right.
We're not here to pigeonhole ourselves. We are.
Well, and clearly these are pretty stupid and almost unbelievable theories. But the reason I like it is I'm a very logical person, and so if I hear something that makes some sense in a certain way, then I'm like, I want to open my mind. I want to dive into it. So that's why. Do I think that was placed there? Probably not. I don't think an alien towed it in, but I'm also not quite sure how else it did.
Well, and I'm the exact opposite. I'm illogical. I like to dive into stuff just so I can make fun of people about it. But also there is that, which it's unfortunate for me, but there is that saying that it's always best to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm screwed here, folks. This guy, he is the knowledge master, and I'm just going to do everything I can not to look dumb talking to him.
I think that's where the underqualified comes in, because I hear and I love it. I nerd out on it, but I don't have all the answers.
You really do nerd out on shit. Like
I think I've seen every single episode of Ancient Aliens multiple times, probably.
That guy on that, I can't remember his name, but the dude with the crazy
Giorgio.
Dude, that guy cracks me up. Cracks me up.
Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Yeah,
his hair, bro.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk nothing about nobody's hair. There's a reason I wear a hat all the time. It's very bald up there. I got the toilet bowl thing going on. That's why I shave my head. Because if I don't shave my head, I have people that try to sit on top of my head.
Hey, speaking of that, crows.
Crows
from
sitting on top of my head.
I'm gonna get there. Crows. I learned this from Odd Danny.
That's such a segue that I'm going to start calling you Paul Blart.
I'm just saying, squirrel. No, but crows.
Okay, crows.
Crows have the intelligence of a 7-year-old. Dolphins, 4-year-old, and we all thought they were one of the smartest mammals, right? Crows have they will recognize you. They will remember your face, and if one of the crows dies, they find a crow that's dead. They'll all gather around and they'll investigate it, and they'll stop eating the food in the area, in case that was what did it. But they will, if like you kill a crow, they'll come after you. And not only that, they'll tell their peoples. And not only that, they tell their kids.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, you're going to be fighting generations of crows. That's what Al Danny still. I watched this video. That's where all it came from. And then they will pick out and they will bombard you. Like I'm saying, they're going to poop on your head.
And that's how you know that humans are actually idiots, because crows remember that stuff. They'll set you up and have your friends come after you. If I touch my oven and it's too hot and I go, ow, you're gonna touch it
because I gotta see.
You're gonna see how hot it is.
It's the cigarette lighter in the car back in the day. Everybody knew it looked dangerous and it hurt, but everybody had to touch it in the family.
Yeah, crows would be like, no, don't go eating that. And we're like, ow, son of a
bitch,
dude, you gotta try this. Ow.
Killed me too. That's why they call it a murder of crows. A group of crows is a murder.
Oh. That's kind of creepy, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And it makes the movie The Birds make so much more sense. I always thought to myself, like, there's some horror movies, see, we're just going off the fucking rails here, but it's okay.
About that.
But there's some horror movies that I'm always like, man, this is so dumb. There's no way that this could happen. Like Lake Placid. There's no way that you're going to have a 74-foot alligator that's being fed by Betty White trying to eat Bill Pullman.
I can see Betty White feeding an alligator though.
Well, not anymore.
Now,
She'd been asleep for a minute, dog. She was she's an American legend and all
God
that
bless
stuff.
you,
And
Betty White.
R.I.P. Betty, but she ain't feeding no gators right now, buddy. But what you just said about the crows right there, that literally makes the birds actually kind of a scary movie.
It is, yeah.
Like, can you imagine?
Because they're going home and they're telling their buddies like, this chick over here, yeah, she's in our house. Let's go get her.
Yeah,
You
just
know?
think about that. You walk outside and you kick a crow for whatever reason. It's
Bad deal.
it's next to your car. The next day you walk out and there's 44 crows all bowed up on you.
Actually, and this happened to us in Urbandale, and when I saw Danny's video on it, I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly why. Mallory she said, you have to, this is when we had a little Shih Tzu, Zoe, and I was about to let her out the back door. We had a fence in the backyard. We lived in town, and she said, you got to go out there with her. I said, no, I'm not going out there with her. She's going to go to the bathroom. She goes, no, there's for some reason there's birds that are trying to attack her, and I thought, no way. So I opened the door, let her out, and of course, me being stubborn, I just stood by the door. And sure enough, there's a crow lands in the yard, and Mallory says, that's what I'm talking about. So I go running out there and scare it off. And there had to have been at least 7 in the trees. Well, Zoe had killed a crow the day before. And so Mallory actually said, I think they're mad that crow died and Zoe killed it, and they're coming to the yard. And I thought, no way, they're just crows. And then I watched Danny's video, and I'm like, she was right this entire time.
They
were pissed, and they were coming to figure out what happened, and they thought, oh, there's that dog.
So that's like the bird death brings all the crows to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
All right.
Well, okay, well, if we're going to talk about birds, we might as well talk about birds for a second. Have you ever in your entire life,
What you're going to say.
and it's going to, I know it messes with you, but have you ever in your entire life seen a wild chicken?
No.
How about a wild hamster?
No.
How about a baby pigeon?
That's what gets my goat.
Just like the moon might have been put there, this is all coming back around here, folks. Just like the moon's being set there, where do these animals come from, man?
I was just saying this the other day to Mal, and I said, I asked her the same thing because you hit me with those, and I thought, I of all the things that I've looked into and been geeking out on, never ever heard that. And then the whole they sit on power lines to recharge. But I've never seen a baby pigeon, and I've never seen a wild chicken.
And there's actually a guy here in town, here in Atlantic, Iowa, that raises pigeons. And whenever it's, I'll give you his name.
No, is it those white ones that you always see out by the airport? Okay, yeah.
Yep. And he actually has to order them to have them brought to him. I don't believe he breeds them. I'll have to ask him. That's something maybe we could bring him in.
I want to
some
know
point.
about that because this pigeon thing really bothered me.
But the chicken thing was what started it with, and it was actually a friend of ours from high school.
Yep.
She, I'm not going to mention her name, but she was the one who brought up the chicken thing to me one day, and I was like, "What?" Like, oh damn. So, do me a favor if you're watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, and hit the comment button. Tell me if you've ever seen a wild pigeon or a baby pigeon, a wild chicken, or a wild hamster. The wild hamster thing really blows me away. Like, did we engineer hamsters so that kids had something to kill?
I think so. Aren't gerbils from, or the guinea pigs are from Guinea? Is it Papua New Guinea? That's an
they have
you
they
can
have
find
a
them
new
there.
papa and he's a guinea. What? I don't understand.
I think it's Papua New Guinea. Or something like
Wow.
that. But no, you can find them there. They're actually there. But the hamsters, gerbils, I don't know if that's like a hybrid with the mice and the rats or something like that. I don't know. But that'll. If any of this bakes your noodle, go check it out.
This is exactly what we're talking about. This is how, and in the promo we said it. We want you guys to be involved in this podcast. So if you know of something and you're like, okay, these guys are idiots, please comment, send us DMs, do whatever you got to do to make us feel like idiots, because then we will get back on and we will fix being idiots.
I love, because that's the criticism back, or they're like, oh, you don't, that's not what that is, or this is what happened. I love that because I want to know more about it. If I can debunk it, I'll debunk it, and that's fine too because it was still interesting and fascinating. But what makes it more is that I can't. So if you got some information, I'd love to hear that too.
Yeah, if I'm driving down the road one day and I see a rooster on the side of the road that's standing there, that's what doesn't make any sense to me. I've never seen them off a farm, man.
So, and that's what I was thinking too is you've got, like, are they just that weak of a species they can't survive outside? And then I was thinking, well, you've got pheasants they're the dumbest dang birds I've ever seen.
And as a matter of fact, the pheasant population here in Iowa had been really dipping.
Oh yeah,
I drove up to Spirit Lake yesterday.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere.
I've had 2 run into my truck.
That's because they're geniuses.
Yeah, so you got turkeys, which are bigger. They got the large talons.
Large talons.
They got the large talons.
And they got that thing down here that kind of looks like that thing down there. You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty intimidating. So you got turkeys. You got pheasants. You've got
Quail.
Quail, little baby quail. Why don't you have chickens?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Because the other thing that doesn't make any sense is if nature was going to make the most delicious bird, why can't I go out and hunt it? Why do I have to buy it from the store?
You make a good point. Cody, what are you doing Saturday? I'm going to go hunt chickens. That sounds like you're going to commit a felony, sir. You can't go hunt chickens. I can go hunt pheasants and turkey.
Yeah.
Quail.
And the thing about it is if somebody has their chickens out running around in the yard, guess what?
You're going to jail,
They're fair game, baby. I'm bird shotting them in the dome piece and making me a 12 piece.
I don't think you'd just be breaking the shooting across the road rule on that one.
Well, but some people keep their chickens down the road from where they live.
That's true. But I don't understand why there's.
Have you ever seen a wild Holstein cow? This whole animal thing is going to have to be a whole section of itself, and we just happen to know an animal expert.
Well, there are places that have wild hogs on. There's obviously wild.
Oh
hogs.
yeah, wild hogs. Those
but
things.
The actual hogs that we can think of are on the beaches somewhere.
But once again, the wild hogs, from what I've heard, I would love to go down, and if we got anybody down the road that wants to invite me and Jay to come down to Texas and ride around in a helicopter and shoot hogs,
did that. It looks amazing.
I'm totally in. I hate heights. I'm not a huge hunter because, well, I'm old and fat and don't want to go. But if I could go down there and do that, I would be all about it. But I have been told that the wild hogs don't taste very good.
No, they're tough.
That doesn't make any sense.
Does
that mean that I would taste better than you because you're in good shape and I'm chubby?
No, because I eat good food and I would be tasty and spicy. That's why those mud ducks don't taste good. You go duck hunting, you eat a duck. Well, they're eating their food out of the muck down there and they taste like it.
That's a real greasy bird. I'm not a huge duck guy.
No.
And there you go. That's a perfect example. A duck is a farm animal in a lot of people's eyes.
It is.
A goose is a farm animal in a lot of people's eyes. Why isn't the chicken out there, man? Where is it? Why can't I go out into the prairie and shoot a fucking chicken?
Yeah, well, you think about it too, because you see baby chicks, you see baby ducks, you see baby geese. Where's the baby pigeons?
Yeah, and
where's the wild chickens? Yeah, I don't know.
Like I said, comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a whole episode on that too.
We're gonna have to splice this one because we're going a lot of different places.
But that's kind of the point of it.
I love it.
When we talked about this, the first thought was actually to talk about the odd drop.
Yep.
We were going to use that as a name.
True. Yep.
Because we were going to do this first thing on conspiracies, which has kind of gone off the rails.
Yeah.
We've
touched a lot of them today.
And we had actually talked about that, was that we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves to one thing.
Right.
That way we can do this.
Yes.
This is what it's all
We're
about.
going to keep it fresh. That's the goal.
We're just talking long form, sit here bullshit. We want you guys, if you have a topic that you want us to talk about, shoot it over to us.
Yes.
If we are going to do, like, our next episode is actually going to be a breakdown of the upcoming 2025 MLB season, which I don't want to do this to you, but ladies and gentlemen, world champs, baby, let's go! Right up until the first pitch, they still world champs.
Yankees might struggle this year.
Oh, dude, the Yankees. The signing of Cody Bellinger, I think, is going to be a game changer. The Dodgers should have never let Cody Bellinger go. Honestly, it was 3 years ago, I believe, in the World Series or in the playoffs, he did the jumping shoulder check with Jock Peterson, blew out his shoulder. He was never the same player for the Dodgers. They get rid of him. He goes to the Cubs last year and comes alive. Yeah. And I'm still a huge Cody Bellinger fan, except for the fact that he wears pinstripes now.
Yeah.
I already didn't like the Yankees because they're the Yankees, and I'm a Dodger fan. And then that idiot during the World Series decided to try to molest Mookie Betts.
Oh, yeah.
And that was pretty much... Yeah,
you got that video up. Go check that out. That was a funny one.
I actually do.
That. Yep. We watched that sucker live.
I love Mookie Betts. I love the Dodgers. I love baseball. I hate fans who ruin things.
Yeah.
And we're going to touch on all that stuff too. But yeah, the next episode is going to be the breakdown of the MLB season. And then we're going to start diving into some real craziness.
Yeah, we're going to do all sorts, and we're going to keep like I said, we're going to keep the sports kind of a cornerstone, breakdowns, introduction. We're going to do the fun, put up some displays and keep track of how good or bad I'm doing and if I can kick Cody's ass or not.
Yeah, and then somewhere down the road here, you can start kicking out some of those sports betting ideas to people.
Yeah, I'm working on something big on that. We'll see if we can't get something dialed in.
Once again, like I said, he's smart, folks. He's doing things that
I'm an old man trying to teach an old man new tricks, and
when it comes to sports betting, I'm a close my eyes and point and click kind of guy. Unless like the UFC, I'm pretty good at picking.
Yep. I rely all on you on the UFC.
We'll also get a chance to get into some boxing because we are now boxing commentators, buddy.
Yep, we did the pay-per-view TKO Ticks again. Yeah, that was a lot of fun and keeping up with those guys. That Mateo.
Yeah, that kid's gonna be a stud.
Oh my gosh.
And then that Jeff Feltner, and we talked about him on
that man has the heart of a lion.
I'd seen him get knocked down 13 times in one fight, lost 11
body
points,
shots,
11 points in that fight, and still finished the fight.
He finished the fight,
and then probably went home and drank 4 Budweisers and hung out with it. I'm assuming he's got a pit bull. That's just my yeah. He's got a pit bull.
He took so many liver and rib shots. I don't know. Man
and the kid that
impressive.
he fought, his entire team was making fun of him for a week about, man, you knocked him down 14 times and couldn't get him out the door.
No, that was good. Yeah, so we got all sorts of stuff. We're gonna keep fresh, keep you guys entertained, and bring the segments that you like to hear, and keep this thing rolling.
Well, before we close this one out, I don't know what we're at on time here. It feels like we've been going for. Let's just take a look here.
We can do some clipping, but
we're only about 40 minutes in. It looks like, so we should be all right. But before we get out of here, I got to ask one more question about the moon.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, do you believe that we landed on the moon?
I can't. It seems like we should have, but there's too much against it that makes me go, I can't. I would never say 100% that we did.
Okay. And so I talked to my pops about this. My pop's 69 years old. He was alive. He actually watched the moon landing on, I'm assuming, TV that was made out of rocks.
Zenith.
Yeah, the old 3-channel black and whiter.
3636.
And he actually told me a story that his mom and dad went to bed. They weren't even interested enough to watch it. To me, the moon landing at that point would be kind of like, and it's on a complete
pinnacle of all moments.
It's on a completely different spectrum, but like 9/11 for us.
Yeah,
that was
huge.
our moment in our life.
You know where you were, you were doing, who you're sitting at. Yeah, that's true.
I was in Mrs. McDermott Jackson's drama class first period, and she walked in with tears in her eyes, turned on the TV, and said, "Everybody, shut up."
I was in Rass's class. I just signed up to be to join the Air Force.
Yeah,
the month before, and Rass looked at me and he goes, "Do you need to go make a phone call?" And I said, I think I do. It was the wildest moment ever.
How many years you end up doing in the Air Force?
A little over 13.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
I should have mentioned that right now.
No,
well, but it's one of those things that people like to know, man.
Yeah.
You did your thing. You did several tours overseas too.
Oh, all the good trips over the pond. Maybe that'll be a different conversation.
Yeah, those conversations
Yeah.
get me a little scared. Like you, not only a genius, but you've done some shit, buddy. Like telling me about jumping out of a helicopter and
that was good fun.
Ooh.
That was good fun.
Yeah.
I think you would like it if I get you.
I don't think whoever would be around me would like me because it would smell like dookie.
I'd tranquilize you and get you up there, and then push you out, and then you.
Tranquilizing sounds like it, like Special K.
So, it takes something to get you out of that plane, but
but anyway, so
it is. It's a pinnacle moment. They just didn't. He said they weren't. Did they let on that they thought it was BS?
He said that they just got up and went to bed. He sat on the floor and watched the landing because I asked him, I said, do you think the moon landing was real? He said, absolutely. I watched it.
Okay.
And at one point I would have thought, the technology would have been too primitive at that point to really create that. But the problem is, when we touch on things like the pyramids and we touch on the things, because there's no way that the pyramids didn't have some kind of technology involved. I'm sorry, there's just no way that they could be that spot on, that to a gnat's ass. And then you kind of look at, and I'm going to go off of the rails for just 1 second. I promise I'll pull it right back. But I'm a firm believer that everything happens in cycles.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe that the people who were living during the time that the pyramids were built had help from aliens. But like hieroglyphics, to me, they're emojicons.
Yeah.
They're ancient emojicons.
That's basically what it is. Yeah, you're using pictures to
So
describe
does that mean
words.
that we're close to the end of this thing that's going on right now? Because they were writing. When you become too lazy to write out words and you start
Hey.
drawing pictures, is that the end?
Hey, could be the beginning of the good stuff because they started it up like that. But no, that's a good point because there's evidence that there was a water erosion on the bottom of one of the pyramids of Giza, and that at one time, well, they were thinking that it could have been built before even the Younger Dryas, with the massive floods that happened.
Well, and it also would make sense that, you got all that gold, everything in there. Was that what they built because they knew an asteroid was coming?
See, that's kind of a myth, though.
And that,
Yeah, a lot of these pyramids didn't actually have a pharaoh in them.
see, this is
So there's a few that were there. No, don't get me wrong, because that's where you got it. We got the Tomb Raiders, but and that's where you got hot Angelina Jolie,
or more importantly, Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If
This
they'd have
belongs in a
given,
museum.
if they'd have given Laura Croft his whip,
Oh.
though, woo,
Come on,
buddy,
get it.
Laura Croft with a whip, buddy.
No, that's where we got it from. They did bury pharaohs and these dignitaries with all their gold and jewelry and all that, but the main pyramids, there might have been some. They found this. I have to think of the name of it, but it's a massive concrete slate or some granite tomb. It's massive. It doesn't make sense for how big it is. How that got down there, they don't know. But there was never anything found in it, so I don't. Again, we're kind of going back to I think the pyramids, those main ones were power stations. You had water run through them, and it caused a resonance, a frequency. We can get into that later because I got some diagrams and stuff. 'Cause it kind of blows your mind looking at that.
Okay, so to wrap this thing up, because we're obviously, this is what it is.
Yep.
This is what it is. I love this. This has been a blast for the first episode, buddy. I
dude.
can't
I
wait,
know.
man.
We're
We're going full steam ahead into
Yes,
this
sir.
thing. And I'm to the point now. I was telling my pops last night, I don't care as long as I get one person to listen to it, so I know that one person
Yeah.
understands the kind of work that we're putting into it.
Or when they get a smile and a chuckle, that's what we're up for. So.
But I really hope that there's a bunch of you out there that want to watch this and listen to it. We're gonna make sure, like I said, first thing, jump on over to the YouTube page, hit
You
that
bet.
subscribe button.
Let us know what you want to hear.
Let us know what you want us to talk about. But yeah, to wrap all this thing up, another thing about the pharaohs, they had this thing about cats.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll get into why I hate cats at some point, stinky ass animals. And but dude, this has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to more. We've got, like I said, obviously we've got so many things that we can throw out and talk about, and I geek out on it. So any chance I can.
And we didn't even touch on things like politics.
No.
We will have those discussions.
The best ones at Thanksgiving dinner: politics, religion. Where's your boyfriend? When are you going to have a kid? All that good stuff. What happened to Gus?
God, no more kids, man. I've got 4 of them. I don't need no more.
Not now.
They almost growed.
About time.
About growed.
About time.
I got my youngest. Well, my oldest is going to be 21.
Good Lord.
In 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
An old man.
The week after we go to Vegas, I'm going to
Vegas.
take her on a little trip. And we're going to go get away for
Nice.
her 21st birthday. And then a few weeks later, my middle one turns 18.
Jeez.
And then my youngest turns 14. And my boy will be 18.
Yeah, you're almost done, bro. It's about time to get this going and hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. buddy. Well, everybody, I hope you guys have enjoyed podcast number 1. We're going to, it should be out. Well, it doesn't matter. You guys are watching it, so it's
Yeah.
already out at that point.
That's right.
But, I'm Cody.
I'm Jay. Stay tuned.
Stay overconfident and underqualified, and we'll see you guys soon. It's been a blast.
It's good.
Let's go.